All right, let's dive right into this. Getting things done, or GTD as it's often called. It's not just a catchy phrase, it's actually a productivity system created by David Allen. The book came out all the way back in 2001, and since then it's been updated to keep up with all the tech changes we've seen, especially over the past couple of decades.
Yeah, it's become a bit of, dare I say, a productivity classic, hasn't it? The idea here is pretty straightforward. At its core, GTD is all about taking tasks and, well, everything floating around in your head and moving them somewhere outside your mind. It's like offloading your brain so you can focus better. It's both simple and a bit profound, wouldn't you say?
Totally. And honestly, who hasn't felt overwhelmed by endless thoughts buzzing around in their head? You know, things like remembering the groceries, paying the bills, deadlines at work. It just builds up. So Alan's premise is spot on. The more overloaded your brain is, the harder it becomes to actually do anything. Makes sense, right?
Absolutely. It's an observation that feels, well, very human. Think of it like a computer. If you've got too many tabs open at once, it slows down, right? This is basically your mental RAM getting clogged. And clearing that up, freeing it up for the task at hand, that's what GTD is all about. It's a way to manage all the stuff so it doesn't manage you.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting. Alan introduces this idea of open loops. These are the incomplete, undefined things we carry in our minds. He says these loops are stress-inducing because we don't even know what we're supposed to do about them yet. Like, take this example. Imagine needing to plan a birthday party, but you've no clue where to start. You don't know the venue. You haven't set a budget. It's just this big, nagging thing without a clear end.
Right, and that's why he suggests a simple approach. First, define the task clearly. Pin it down with a single sentence, something measurable. Let's say, book a venue for Saturday's birthday party. Suddenly, that's a specific goal, and it's, well, actionable.
Oh, and here's where it gets even better.
Next, Alan says, you identify the very first thing you can do to get closer to that goal. Let's call it the next step. Maybe it's browsing venues online, maybe it's calling up some local spots. But it's that first step where the magic happens, because you've broken this nebulous task down into something you can actually tackle. And suddenly, boom, the stress starts to lift.
It's simple, really. Tasks stop being this vast sea of uncertainty. Instead, they become a clear set of actions. And once that next step is written down, your brain isn't tied up trying to constantly remind you about it. You feel lighter, more in control. That's kind of why this system resonates with so many people.
And we're not just talking about getting more done. We're talking about stress-free productivity. It's about clarity. And, well, it gives you this feeling of ease, like your mind can finally breathe.
And that breathing room, it sets the stage for taking real action, which is where GTD really shines.
Now, let's break it down further. How do you take all that stuff we just talked about, all the open loops, and actually process it into something manageable? This is where the GTD method comes alive, the 5-step workflow. Step 1 is capture, which is about gathering everything, ideas, tasks, to-dos, into a trusted inbox, whether it's physical, digital, or both. It's literally about clearing your head so you can focus. Makes sense, right?
Exactly. The capture stage is about emptying your mental desk drawer. Think about it. When your brain isn't trying to juggle 30 things at once, it can, well, actually think. And this isn't just work tasks, it's everything. You might jot down pick up dry cleaning right next to brainstorming ideas for a big presentation. It all goes into one trusted place.
Exactly. And once you've captured it all, we move on to clarify. This is like the detective work of GTD. You look at each item and ask, what is this? Is it actionable? Is it something I need to do, or can I delegate it? So say you've got email Sarah about the meeting. All right, that's actionable. But what about something vague like travel ideas? That's not ready for action yet.
Right. Clarify is essential because it sifts through the noise. And if something really isn't actionable, you can just mark it as someday or toss it entirely. The key is to stop treating every item like an urgent fire and assign it a clear purpose instead.
Exactly. Now, once you've clarified, we get to organise. This is where your trusty tools come in. Think folders, filing systems, a calendar, a proper system to store and group things. I love this example. If you've got 5 errands to run, you pop them all on your errands list and boom, it's all tidy and ready for action.
And a good system helps you avoid the dreaded messy inbox situation too. Once you've filed it away into a reference folder or a calendar event, it's like your brain just sighs in relief. You're not scrambling, you know where everything is. It's a recipe for a calmer day.
Which brings us to reflect. The weekly review. Seriously, this might be the secret sauce here. Every week, you take a step back, review your lists, and ask yourself, is this still relevant? Am I focused on the right stuff? It's like a recalibration for your brain.
Yeah, and this is where you shift from firefighting to real planning. A weekly review helps you spot areas you might have missed and align everything with your bigger goals. It's a chance to,
well, zoom out for that bird's eye view.
And then there's engage, the last stage. This is where you actually get stuff done. By now you've got a clear, actionable list. You're not stressed wondering where to start. Instead you jump in, based on what matters most, or sometimes just what fits your energy level and time. It's freeing.
It's pretty amazing. The key to the engage step is knowing that not all tasks are equal. Some things might take 2 minutes, like send a quick email. Others need careful focus. Having those tasks pre-organised lets you spend your energy strategically rather than wasting time deciding where to begin.
And honestly, when you put it all together, it's where mind like water comes in. It's that sense of calm, where you're not overreacting or overwhelmed. You're just flowing with what's in front of you. Like water adapting to whatever's thrown its way. It's absolutely brilliant.
It really is. The beauty of mind like water is that it's not about perfection. It's about balance. You respond appropriately, handle tasks calmly, and then move on. That's productivity at its best.
And it all starts with those 5 simple steps.
Now that we've walked through the 5 steps and explored the mind-like water state, let's shift gears and see what this actually looks like in the real world. This method isn't just theoretical. It's changed how people and entire companies get things done, turning chaos into clarity.
Absolutely. Take corporate cultures, for instance. GTD has been huge in knowledge-driven industries. Think tech, finance, creative work. These are environments where juggling dozens of simultaneous projects is the norm, and GTD has become a staple for enhancing efficiency. It's, well, like handing people a toolkit to work smarter, not harder.
Yes, because when, say, executives or teams adopt a system that clears mental clutter, they're not just ticking boxes faster, they're actually reducing stress. And that makes productivity sustainable, not just a quick sprint to burnout.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting. There's no one-size-fits-all with GTD. Different people adapt it to suit their style. For some, it's all about the analog setup. Lots of physical folders, handwritten lists. Others rely on digital solutions, and frankly, there's no shortage of apps out there to help with that.
Oh, totally.
Tools like Todoist, Notion, or even just a well-organised Google Calendar, they're built to work with GTD principles. Some apps even market themselves as GTD-enabled, offering templates and integrations specifically designed for the system. It's tech-agnostic, like Alan intended, but flexible enough to evolve with technology.
And it's that flexibility that's kept it relevant for over 2 decades. I mean, look at the testimonials out there. People swear by their weekly reviews. It's the moment they recalibrate their lives. It's not just about work either. People use this to balance family commitments, hobbies, even social plans. One practitioner said it helped them finally, stop forgetting their kids' soccer games.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It shows how this isn't just a work thing, it's a life thing. When you can see everything clearly, you're better equipped to prioritize what really matters. And those weekly reviews? They're kind of like a moment of clarity in all the noise. It's like hitting reset, but with intention.
Right. And it ties back to that mind like water idea. When you keep everything externalized in a tool you trust, you're not carrying it all in your head anymore. That focus lets you respond, not react. It's a subtle difference, but it's everything, isn't it?
It really is. And honestly, the beauty of all this is how practical it is. There's no magic wand, just simple, actionable steps. And yet, the impact, it's life-changing for so many people.
Agreed. At the end of the day, GTD offers more than just a productivity boost. It brings balance. It bridges the gap between what you need to do and what you want to focus on. It's liberating.
So, whether you're clearing an inbox or planning your next big life goal, it's all about thinking ahead, acting with clarity, and finding that flow.
And that's it, really. Clarity, focus, balance. It's all within reach. On that note, what's the one thing you'd say about GTD if you had to sum it up?
All right, ready? It's this. When you clear your mind, you clear the way. That's GTD in a nutshell. Couldn't be simpler.
Perfectly put. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for listening, and stay productive on your terms.